Edgar Allan Poe was an American writer, editor, and literary critic. Poe is best known for his poetry and short stories, particularly his tales of misery and the macabre. Poe was born in January 19, 1809 in Boston, Massachusetts. He died in October 7 of 1849 in Maryland, United States. His spouse was Virginia Clemm Poe, who died in 1847. Some of his most famous stories was The Telltale Heart and The Black Cat. He also had movies such as Tales of Terror and The Lamp of Gigeria. Poe's father and mother, both professional actors, died before the poet was 3 years old. John and Frances Allen raised him as a foster child in Richmond, Virginia. John Allen, a prosperous tobacco exporter, sent Poe to the best boarding schools and later to the University of Virginia, where Poe excelled academically. Edgar Allan Poe's imaginative storytelling and tales of misery and horror gave birth to the modern detective story. Poe married his cousin Virginia when she was 13 and he was 24. Despite his awards and recognition, Poe had financial problems. Poe died in a Baltimore hospital in 1849, his last words being, "Lord help my poor soul," when throughout his writing career. The Black Cat tells the story of a man who is in prison and who will be murdered the next day, so he wants to tell the story of his life. This man used to love all type of domestic animals, but he has one he loved the most, a big and black cat named Pluto. This man used to drink a lot. When he did, his personality changed completely. One night, the man arrives drunk at home, and in one moment that he feels that the cat is avoiding him, with a knife he cuts off his eye. One other night, in a perverse impulse, he decides to hang his cat in a tree, even knowing that it was wrong. The next day, his house burns down, and the only wall left had an image of a gallows. Days passed, and he found a cat just like the one he killed. He decided to take it home, but suddenly he noticed that his cat had a gallows form on his fur. Terrorized, he is about to kill the cat with an axe, but suddenly his wife comes in the way and he kills her. The man, freaked by what he'd just done, he decides to build a wall inside the house to hide the dead body of his wife. Days later, when the police came into his house to investigate why the wife was missing, he was about to get away with his plan since they didn't find anything in his house, but suddenly, a cat screams from within the wall. Immediately, the officers break down the wall and they found the body of his wife, and this is how he ends the story. The House of Usher tells the story of a man who arrives to a very creepy mansion for his sick friend from childhood. Roderick, his friend, and his sister Madeline are the latest of the Ushers, an artistic family. When the man enters to this dark house, the man explains that Roderick has a hypersensitivity to light, sound, taste, and tactile sensations. He feels that he will die of the fear he feels. Roderick also believes that his creepy house is able to perceive things and has a great power over him. He hasn't left this mansion for years. Later, Madeline dies, and the man put her body into the vaults underneath the mansion. Since they were twins, Frederick thinks that they have a supernatural bond. Weeks later, in the middle of a storm, the men decide not to sleep but to read a book of drama from the library. They thought all of the sounds from the book were real in the mansion. Suddenly, Usher jumps up saying that they brought Madeline back to life. Sure enough, the doors open and there's she standing. She throws herself at Usher, who falls at the floor and dies along with his sister. The man runs out while he sees the house of Usher cracking in two and falling down. Thank you. My name is Alejandro Villegas. This was a project for Virtual English 5 and 6.